Well, hello my fine gardening friends, how the devil are you? Well, I've been missing in action for the last few weeks, so my apologies for that. I've been away on a bit of a holiday, and then I've just recovering now from a nasty case of the old COVID. Thought I'd got away with it for the last 2.5 years, but caught me in the end. What makes me laugh is, you know, earlier on in the year I went to Italy skiing, the UK on a conference, then France and Belgium, etc. No chance, all those flights, didn't catch any COVID. Just a few weeks ago, goes out for a drink, my son catches it off the babysitter, I catch it off my son Ethan. It's not very nice, is it? But there we go. Recovering from it now, back in the garden, making a mess, I might add, at the moment, as you can see. These are all my tomato plants, and I've been tidying them up, and I actually cut the wrong branch off, and as you can see, I decimated a whole plant, and then when I pulled it out, I've decimated near enough the whole lot of the tomato plants in here. But actually, really and truly, most of my tomato plants are on the last legs of the season. The beautiful Romas here, they're still not ready to harvest yet, so they're fruiting up nicely, but most of my cherries now are on the last legs, so really and truly I can actually pull most of these tomato plants out, or get rid of most of them around here, especially the cherries anyway. Bit of a sad time of year, isn't it? September, when your tomatoes, look how 10 foot they've been growing up to. Put all that effort in, they've given me tons and tons and tons of tomatoes this year. Absolutely amazing harvests. But it's a sad time, isn't it? The end of the sort of the main growing season. But we don't want to think about it like that. We want to think about the new season coming up, autumn, and that's not a season where nothing's going to be happening. We can be planting things. Next month I'm going to be planting my garlic for the new season. Today I'm going to plant up some different lettuces and arugula, etc., rocket. So lots of different things going on. And this is a month of reflection as well. What worked with tomatoes, what didn't work? Well, I did the old experiment again where I let some of the tomatoes just get on with it. I didn't normally I like to prune my tomatoes, as you can see, one stem all the way up, and it's nice and tidy. I believe it sort of gives the plant to put all their effort into the good bunches of fruit, and it's easy to get to them, all those sorts of really good things. But people, also preach about how just let your tomatoes do what they want, that's what they're supposed to do, and you'll get loads of fruit. Well, that's fine. I've actually found the fruit's a little bit smaller, I think, when you grow them like that. But also, it's a right flipping mess. I mean, look at the state of all that art in there. I've not really been able to get in there properly. So I have resolved I'm not letting the plants get on with it anymore. They are going to go up in a nice stem, and they're going to look regimented, just nice, just like the guards were regimented on the proclamation of new King Charles III this morning. My commiserations to his family. A great loss to my country, the Queen. I better not go on too much because I'll start bubbling, as I have been for the last couple of days. But God save the King, and God save my regimented tomatoes for the next few years, because they're not going to do what they want. So that's one of the jobs I need to be getting on with. Is I'm going to tidy up the most of these tomato plants, get rid of them, and then prepare this bed, because it needs, as you can see, it's sunk down again, needs more compost, and I'm going to plant up some lettuces, etc., for an extended season of that sort of growing in the autumn time. And then let's have a look at some other stuff that I might be doing over the next month for this new season. So now I have chopped all my tomato plants down, and lots of other flowers, etc., at this time of year that have gone over. Another good thing to be doing in this month is keep on top of your composting. and your composting. Here in Nova Scotia, it gets, you know, very cold from the end of December all the way through to sort of March time. So composting doesn't really sort of occur, you know, within the heaps that much at that time of year. So I want to sort of give it as good a chance as possible at this time of year. Fortunately, I've got a motorised shredder and I can shred all of these big stalks up. But even if you haven't got that, just chopping them up with some secateurs as much as is possible will increase the surface area of your compost heap, and that'll allow it to break down and the organisms to sort of break it down a lot quicker. So, you know, keep on top of the composting, and then we can have lots of lovely compost like that, which I'm going to use up in the that central bed that I've just said needs a bit more compost. So it's that full cycle of life, isn't it? Finish with the plants, compost them, they break down, turn into beautiful, really nutrient rich compost, which we put in the soil, which feeds all the microorganisms, which in turn feed the plants, and we get lots of lovely tomatoes. So keep on top of that composting. As you can see behind me, I'm a bit behind, you know, because I've been away and illness and stuff, but with my motorised shredder, I will get that down within today, and that will soon be breaking down into compost for next year's lovely crops. Anyway, on to the next job. So I'm hoping you can see me properly. I can't see the camera myself, but anyway, another important job to be doing at this time of year in September is to be buying your garlic to be planting over October, November time. Fortunately, I've got quite a bit left over from my previous harvest crop, so you know, I'll be choosing the biggest and fattest bulbs from all of the ones that are here drying, and I'll be planting them up next month. The rest of them obviously I'll be storing over the winter and eating them as I go along. But very important, get out there and get your garlic to be planting next month, so you're not left with the leavings, as they say. Got to have some garlic. Such an easy crop to grow. So we may be at the end of the hot, warm season, the hot season plants, etc. Tomatoes, cucumbers, all your different hot loving plants like that. But it doesn't mean we're at the end of the growing season, does it? We've already said let's think about our garlic and buying our garlic for planting next month. Well, we've also got the cool loving plants. Funnily enough, you know, the plants that we often love to eat in the summer, our salad, lettuces, etc., don't particularly like the hot weather. But now, as we're coming into a sort of cooler season, but there's still lots of sunlight, we still have lots of nice warm days here in Nova Scotia and, you know, around the northern hemisphere. Our cool season plants like rocket, arugula, lettuce, your kales, all those sorts of things, we can plant them. And I sowed these seeds last month, and it's still not too late to sow any seeds, even outdoors, for things like kale. The soil is nice and warm, and your rockets and lettuce, etc., your leafy greens will grow quickly at this time of year. They'll germinate nicely, they don't mind the cooler temperatures, the soil is nice and warm, so they will germinate nice and quickly. So I'm going to put some of these in my greenhouse, because where there is now a space, there is a place to plant. And outside, in some of my beds, where I'm clearing away the tomatoes from those beds, I will plant up more of these lettuce, etc., in those beds as well. So, and if you've got a cold frame, that's a really good place to be extending your season. That's why I'm growing them in here, to extend my season. But it's not too late to be planting things outside, like I said, these leafy greens. So don't waste your time, go for it. So September is also a month not to forget about picking your apples. In the orchard here now, I've got 3 trees that are actually producing apples. This Sweet 16 is my favourite taste so far, absolutely delicious. and I've got another two. I can't remember what they are over there, but the far one has got a really good crop of apples. So you know, we want to get the apples on the tree before they fall down, so that you know, we can store them for a few weeks. As soon as they fall, they'll get bruised, and you won't be able to store them. So it's best to obviously get them before they fall down. And here's a couple of, just a few tips on recognising when they're actually ready to pick. So this apple has a, you know, has a good red tinge to it, a good red colouring. So obviously knowing what sort of colour that your apple is supposed to be is a good idea. So this is about right. So I sort of knew that this was a good start, that this was going to be ripe. Another reason, or another way, one of the main sort of ways to sort of know when your apple is ready to pick is it should come away, when you just pull it away, just slightly turn it up away from the actual stem, it should easily come away, no problem at all. Let's have a look at that again. What else we got here? Here's one, and that apple is coming away nicely now. And obviously another one of the main reasons is have a taste. Nice, although slightly sourer than I would like it, so this may be just a little bit too early, but obviously the sweeter it is, the better, the more ripe it's going to be. But don't forget to harvest those apples, because otherwise the pesky critters, excuse me, will have them, like the who had them last year? Those pesky raccoons had them last year. And if you let them fall down, just down here you can see all the wasps. I'll have them as well. So get them before they do. And lastly, but definitely not least, don't forget to enjoy your veg and your fruit. We spent all that time and care, loving care, growing it. Do it some justice with some great recipes. I always like to try something new every year, or great recipes being like this absolutely ridiculously tasty tomato, basil and chili salsa. It's from Jamie Oliver. I think I originally got the recipe, but I think it's up there on the screen. But always, you know, have a look at trying something new every year. This year I'm going to try a chili sauce, making a, you know, a real good chili sauce. And I've just been saving up all these hot chilies that are going to go in there. So whether it's, you know, chili sauce, you know, a nice salsa, or a beautiful tomato sauce for later in the winter, do your veg justice. Really, really love it. You know, some great tasting recipes out there. Keep picking your beans, keep picking all the different things, your apples, your basil, and make use of it. Taste it, love it, because when it all comes together, let's have a little taste. Oh yeah, job's a good one.